The 2011 draft class was absolutely stacked at the top. Cam Newton, Von Miller, AJ Green, Patrick Peterson, Julio Jones, JJ Watt, Ryan Kerrigan, and more. In the first 16 picks, only 4 players did not have a Pro Bowl career. Let's talk about 3 of those players who were absolutely busts. Before we get into it, if you could just drop a like on this video and drop that subscribe if you want, that would mean so much to us. First is Jake Locker, quarterback out of Washington, was drafted by the Tennessee Titans with the 8th overall pick. Jake Locker was a raw prospect entering the NFL draft from Washington. He came in as a dual threat guy, had a pretty decent collegiate career, but he ended up retiring after only 4 years in the NFL. Injuries had a big part to play in this. In his 4-year career, he ended up missing 23 games due to injuries. He was never really able to establish himself as a solidified starter in the NFL. However, there were a lot of teams interested in signing him after his rookie contract as a backup, but instead of coming back, he decided to move on and retire from the NFL. He was later quoted in an interview to have said he no longer had a burning passion to play the game. He was so convinced that he didn't want to play in the NFL anymore, he told his agent not to even tell him if he received any offers. He finished his career with 32 total touchdowns and 28 total turnovers. While he's an awesome guy and has a really cool story, he's definitely considered a bust in this 2011 draft. The third quarterback to go in the first round of the 2011 draft was Blaine Gabbert out of Missouri. Blaine Gabbert had a massive 6'5" frame and had a lot of the quote-unquote tools. Every scout said they saw tools for this guy to succeed in the NFL. However, he had a really up and down career at Mizzou. He never really put up impressive numbers that warranted him to go in the first round. He was eventually drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars 10th overall. Unfortunately for him, the Jaguars were one of the worst teams, and they were one of the worst organizations as well. He had a terrible offensive line, terrible coaching staff around him. In his rookie year, he actually had the second worst completion percentage out of any quarterback. By the way, the Jags actually traded up from 16 to 10 with Washington to draft Gabbert. They ended up giving up a second-round pick, so not too much, but still it hurts. Ultimately, he had a lot of injuries and just couldn't stay healthy. However, when it ended up not working out in Jacksonville, he has bounced around the league and ended up having a pretty decent backup career. Last year, he won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as he backed up Tom Brady. Not a bad gig. He's currently a free agent who could potentially be heading to retirement. While he's had a decent backup career, it's pretty safe to say that at the 10th overall pick, Blaine Gabbert was a bust. The fourth quarterback taken in the NFL draft was Christian Ponder out of Florida State. Ponder had a pretty decent career in college, and a lot of scouts thought he could eventually develop into a really great quarterback in the National Football League. In fact, his first 2 years, he was on a projection to continue to get better as a quarterback. In 2012, he did lead the Vikings to a playoff berth, but unfortunately after that, injuries pretty much plagued his entire career. He failed to live up to expectations after that and eventually was replaced by Teddy Bridgewater out of Louisville. After leaving the Vikings, Ponder did look for opportunities, but unfortunately nothing really came his way and he never played another snap in the NFL. While those were our biggest busts, there were some absolute steals in this draft class. Richard Sherman was drafted in the 5th round by the Seattle Seahawks. Sherman played his college ball at Stanford and he played a combination of wide receiver and cornerback. He first played wide receiver, but when he was injured in 2008, he made a decision to switch to cornerback. Sherman didn't get a lot of draft attention, but fortunately for the Seahawks, they were able to snag him really late for a great value. In his prime, he was arguably the best cornerback in all of football. I personally believe that he was the best cornerback in his prime. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro. He was a part of that Legion of Boom defense in Seattle when they won the Super Bowl against the Broncos. That was Super Bowl 48. Had an amazing stint with the 49ers and is currently a free agent. He'll definitely get picked up in free agency by a team after the 2021 NFL draft. Even further into this draft, in the 6th round, the Eagles selected Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce had a pretty decent collegiate career in Cincinnati where he was able to play with his brother, Travis Kelce, that's right. In his prime, he was considered the best center in football by most. 4-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. He won Super Bowl 52 with the Eagles, where he currently still plays. To get a guy like Jason Kelce in the 6th round is an absolute steal for the Philadelphia Eagles. Doug Baldwin was also in the 2011 draft class, but he was not drafted. That's right, he was an unrestricted free agent signing by the Seattle Seahawks. He had a pretty average college career at Stanford, to be fair, but he absolutely showed up in his professional career. Two-time Pro Bowler, won Super Bowl 48. He is the third all-time leader in team receptions and receiving yards for Seattle, so he'll go down in the history books for this team. He did retire after the 2018 season, but absolutely has a career that he should be proud of. One quick honorable mention here is Chris Harris Jr., cornerback for the Broncos. Now, he was also undrafted out of Kansas. In his rookie year, he absolutely boomed onto the scene. He was an All-Pro and made the Pro Bowl. He won Super Bowl 50 with the Broncos. Only 10 wide receivers have ever caught a touchdown pass against Harris. Only 8 players have ever totaled more than 50 yards against him in a game. He's absolutely been a lockdown corner, and for being an undrafted guy, the Broncos got an absolute steal. The 2011 draft class had some special players, and unfortunately, some people who were busts. Comment below and let us know if we missed anybody, whether it's a bust or whether it's a breakout. And let us know if you want to do 2012. See you in the next video. Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the best of fantasy football. We got some more videos as well if you're feeling like it. And lastly, don't forget that you can support us and unlock exclusive content by signing up to our Patreon, patreon.com/fantasylandfam.